Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. His Highness Sheikh Abdullah bin Hamad Khalifa Al Thani, His Excellency Ahmad bin Abdullah bin Zayed Al Mahmoud, Speaker of Shura Council of the State of Qatar, Her Excellency Ms. Gabriela Cuevas, IPU President, Excellencies, Speakers and Vice Speakers of the Parliaments, Member of Parliaments, Gopac members, ambassadors, representatives of international organizations, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be upon us all. First of all, on behalf of the Global Organization of Parliamentarians Against Corruption, Gopac, I would like to sincerely thank the Shura Council of the State of Qatar and the national authorities for hosting this event and for their gracious hospitality and warm welcome here in Qatar for the 7th Global Conference of Parliamentarians Against Corruption. It is also my pleasure to address Gopac, and this conference today coincides with the International Anti-Corruption Day. Since the United Nations Convention Against Corruption in 2003, December 9th, is a day to shed light on the importance of the fight against corruption and its detrimental effects to human development, democracy, and rule of law. This is the spatial momentum for Gopac members, parliamentarians, as well as civil society, relevant institutions, and stakeholders to gather, evaluate, and encourage our agenda to combat corruption, strengthen democracy, and uphold the rule of law. Corruption is a serious threat to the rule of law, the stability and security of societies. It undermines democratic institutions, erodes economies, and contributes to political instability. It can weaken the legitimacy of a government and democratic institutions and significantly slow down reform processes. It feeds inequalities in society, disrupt governance, destroy trust towards state institutions, and become a barrier in achieving sustainable development, purge the opportunities to build a better livelihood for the people, as it steals away their rights to achieve equality, security, and prosperity. It becomes our challenges to address these problems. In addition to accountability and transparency, integrity is therefore essential for building strong institutions resistant to corruption. It is a fundamental requirement for trust, credibility, and authority of government in a modern and democratic society. However, we realize that promoting integrity to tackle corruption is hardly done alone. Participation from every stakeholder is essential to ensure the success of anti-corruption measures, and in this requires at least 4 aspects: a committed political leadership that shows its commitment by willingly, for instance, submitting to a comprehensive monitoring of assets, incomes, and liabilities, public involvement and participation in the reform process, participation by civil service unions and other employees groups, and involvement of professional groups as well as community and religious leaders. Dear colleagues, as parliamentarians, we have a strategic role to eradicate corruption. To fulfill this function efficiently, we should promote and foster integrity. We parliamentarians have to abide to integrity instruments such as codes of ethic conduct. Traditional approaches based on the creation of more rules, stricter compliance, and tougher enforcement are no longer enough to establish effective mechanism in curbing corruption, and it has been of limited effectiveness. Based on that background, public integrity comes as a strategic and sustainable response to tackling corruption. Integrity is the antidote to corruption. Integrity is not just a moral issue, it is also about making economies more inclusive, public sectors more efficient, and societies more cohesive. All of this would bring positive impact for our global commitment in eradicating corruption. And we parliamentarians have a role in preventing corruption by acting with personal integrity and making ethical choices. Borrowing what an American writer, Buckminster Fuller, once said, that on personal integrity hangs humanity's fate. So therefore, from this stage, allow me to make urgent call to our global leadership to take a moral stand and install a culture of integrity from us, parliamentarians. Colleagues, fostering the value of integrity as global awareness, international cooperation is also required among parliamentarians in order to support the exchange of best practices and coordinate parliamentary contribution to fight against corruption. Allow me to share with all this forum the role of Gopac has played to build global commitment and awareness in fighting corruption. Since its inception in 2002, Gopac has been actively involved in global anti-corruption network. Our network spread across 62 national chapters in Arab, Africa, Southeast Asia, Oceania, and Latin America. Gopac is the only international network of parliamentarians dedicated to combat corruption, strengthen good government, and uphold the rule of law. So Gopac has developed several oversight handbooks such as Financial Oversight, Improving Democratic Accountability Globally, and guidelines to strengthen oversight through parliamentarian donor collaboration. The handbooks intended to be a guide to how parliamentarians can increase the effectiveness of their oversight role and how to work together with partners to achieve the goals. Particularly on SDGs, together with the Islamic Development Bank, UN Development Program, UNDP, and Westminster Foundation for Democracy, WFD, Gopac developed a parliamentary handbook as guidance for parliamentarians to implement the SDGs, especially by monitoring the effectiveness and accountability of any development assistance. As of now, the handbook has been localized and developed into national version. We are now actively promoting and encouraging all parliamentarians to make use of this handbook as a valuable resource in achieving SDGs targets. As a final message, yes, we do have great challenges which can only be solved by working together. Gopac is open to collaborate and look forward to fostering strategic partnership in improving institutional capacity and ensuring the effectiveness of legislative reform. After 2 terms, my chairmanship in Gopac will end, and at the end of this conference, we're looking forward to new leadership, perhaps, and I think definitely Qatar has a very big commitment for anti-corruption. And looking at today's enthusiasm of members of parliaments, Gopac members and friends, it is with true confidence that together we can break the culture of corruption and ensure that Parliament and other public institutions in the region are accountable and trustworthy for the benefit of all people. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.